Hey guys, so for those of you who don't know, I have a golden doodle named Max, sometimes Maxi Poo, sometimes Maximus, just depends on the day. Sometimes it's Senor E-Poo. It just, again, it depends on the mood that we're all in. He is 5 years old. We have had him since he was a itty bitty teeny weeny yellow furry puppy. He was supposed to be 35 pounds. He weighs 78. He's much bigger than we thought he would be when we got him. And he has had numerous different foods throughout his 5 years of cute doggy existence, right? He is currently on Purina. Now here's the problem. Let me explain the problem. We need to talk about Purina. So he spent the holidays in Georgia with my mother at her house. She has 2 cats and she has a little dog. It's a little dog that looks like an old dog. I don't know if you guys have seen those. The little dog, its name is Bitsy, and it has like an old dog face. And it looks like something that should be from Gremlins. It's like one of those so ugly it's cute dogs. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But for Christmas for Max, what we did for him as his Christmas gift was let him stay in Georgia from Thanksgiving till the New Year. So he had the big backyard to run around in, the cats to play with, the little dog to play with, and my mom to hang out with. Because here in the apartment, he doesn't get that same runability, right? Unless we go to the dog park and things like that. So his Christmas gift was to stay there. And while he was there, of course, we gave him the same food that we have here, which is the Purina Beneful Healthy Weight, because the last time he went to get his rabies shot, they said, hey, listen, you're getting a little hefty. You might need Mr. Maxi Poo. Sorry, my camera decided it wanted to quit again like it's been doing lately. So what was I saying? We put him on the Purina Beneful Healthy Weight, the chicken and rice one, right? And he's been on that for probably a little less than a year, right? We tried the blue, I can't think of the name of it, but the blue bag, you can get it at Sam's Club. Before that, he had Rachel Ray Nutrish, and he loved that one. And then they discontinued it, which is why we tried to find new foods. And I realized that dog stomachs are exactly, in my opinion, like human stomachs. When you introduce something new to it that it has not had before, you can have a little bit of a gastrointestinal issue. You can have some doggy farts, as this one will do every once in a while. You can have the rumbly and the tumbly, if you will, and maybe some burps and some less solid poos, not maxi poos, but poo-poos. And so Rachel Ray Nutrish, he did well with that. It got discontinued. We moved him to other stuff and he wasn't having like the best time. And then the Purina Beneful Healthy Weight chicken one seemed to do very well. He liked it a lot. Don't lick the computer, please, sir. Thank you. He liked that one a lot, right? And then while he was at my mom's house in Georgia, he had the same food, but I would say probably 3 or 4 days after he got there, she said, hey, he's got pretty liquid poops happening and it's pretty often. And, you know, he didn't make it outside one time, had to clean it up. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, that's stress related. It's a change of pace. You know, here he's like a couch veg most of the time, or running around the apartment with the kid or chasing me around. But there he's in a whole new environment that he hasn't been in except for like the year before or over the summer. So maybe it's like stress related with the poos and the whatever else. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's the food, because we went from the big bag to the little bag. And I'm like, well, does something change in the portions or the way they do it? And it shouldn't, right? And so then of course my mind is, well, did they change anything with the food, with the Purina Beneful? Did they make any changes? Because just like with our food, over the pandemic and everything else, they could go in and change ingredients and not tell us. What if Purina did the same thing? It's not like they're going to make this blazing proclamation to everybody. Hey, I don't think proclamation is the right word. This huge announcement, that's better, that they made changes to the food, that now they're using a different, you know, rice, or they're using a different chicken, or they're using a different whatever. And then of course my brain says, well, if we were worried about bird flu for a while, is it possible that the chicken that's in the food has issues and it's causing issues in my dog? And so after I think a day or two, she said, you know, he's better. It's fine. It's run through his system, whatever it was. Maybe it's just stress. And I said, okay, I'm not worried about it then, right? And he was perfectly fine. Well, then we bring him home after the first of the year. And I would say, again, 3 or 4 days into being back home, he had severe stomach issues to the point where my daughter had to come wake me up probably 3 o'clock in the morning one morning. And she's like, hey, I think Max needs to go out. He's doing this like whining, dancing thing, which he doesn't ever do. So we're like, all right. So I take him out and immediately it was like liquid everything. Probably TMI, but if you've been here before, we do TMI over here. So liquid butt, whatever. And I'm like, okay, hopefully you feel better. That's that. Oh, it's a paw on my, why? A paw on my side. Those are my ribs, sir. Thank you. Look at him. He is such, can y'all, hello, bum. Hello. So that was that at 3 o'clock, right? We bring him back upstairs again at 6:30. Same thing. He's doing that whining, that prancing around, has to go out. And so now I'm like, well, he's still on Purina here. It's the same food, the Purina Beneful Healthy Weight or Weight Management. I think it's called Healthy Weight. Sorry, you're so like all over the place. So I'm like, is it the food or is he stressed again? Because again, we're in a completely different environment. Maybe it's stress. And after 2 or 3 days, it ran its course, whatever it was, and he was perfectly fine. And he's been perfectly fine. Then I go to fix his food one day. And if you guys saw my community post, you know exactly what I'm about to say. I went to scoop his food out, and inside it was a piece of plastic, which I have thrown away since then, but it looked like a small little candy cane shaped white piece of plastic that was in his food. And it did not come from the scooper that I was using because the scooper's orange. It did not come from the bag that it came out of because there's no plastic on the bag. And it did not come from the container the food is kept in because the container is clear with a blue lid. There is nothing white on that container, which means the plastic was in the bag of food. And so then I'm worried. I'm like, have I accidentally given him plastic before? Is there more than one piece in this bag? How many other pieces of plastic are in bags of food that other people have bought for their dogs? How many dogs are having issues right now where they've swallowed a piece of plastic, it's gone down, maybe cut something, hurt something, and on its way out, it causes an issue? Because, I mean, think about it. Plastic, like working its way through your mouth, all the way through your body, not your butt. It's bound to cut something, hurt something, scratch something, do something negative. We get plastics in our body all day long from all the plastic containers our foods and stuff are in, but this is a legit, like, hard piece of plastic that could have caused severe issues if I hadn't found it. So I'm paying attention to everything. And then out of nowhere, I keep hearing people go, get them off Purina. Purina is really bad. There's a lot of dogs dying from it. There's a lot of issues with Purina and everything else. And so I'm like, man, what do we do? And I'm looking, and I watched my husband's video, Kevin247 on YouTube. He put up a video about afraid Purina, what's the title? Afraid Purina kibble making my dog Max sick. Food recall scares. So then I was like, oh wait, is there, like, recalls and stuff are a huge deal. So I watched his video, and one, it's really good because he also talked about how there's too many dogs in our apartment complex where the owners just let them poop all over the place and do not take care of it. Can you imagine if I have to assume that the same kind of people that let their dogs just crap everywhere and not clean it up are the same kind of people that change their kids' diapers and then just leave them sitting wherever they happen to change it instead of putting them in the garbage can. Like, I feel like if you're going to have a dog, you also should have the ability to clean up after your dog, just like you would clean up after yourself, like you should clean up after your small children. It's really weird to me that people think it's okay to just let their dog, like, crap in the middle of a sidewalk and keep it moving. No, boo-boo, that's disgusting, just so we're all fully aware. But so, where was I? So I'm looking at the comments on the video, and there's a lot of really good comments from people talking about the things that they feed their dogs, how they don't give them kibbles and things like that because of the fact that there's so many chemicals and things in these dog foods. And think about your dog the way you would think about feeding yourself or feeding your children. Feeding your dog real food is better for them than everything else. We as a society, myself included, have been, I want to use the word programmed, to think that dog food should equate to these hard little crunchy nibbly things that are sold in, 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 pound bags at your local grocery store or your warehouse store or wholesale store or whatever, or your pet supply store, as opposed to feeding them the same things you would want in your body: the rice, the chicken, the fish, the peas, the carrots, the whatever else, the blueberries. It doesn't occur to a lot of people that if we wouldn't want to eat that concoction of stuff that we feed our dogs when it comes to kibble, why are we giving it to them? And it's I'm not going to lie, it's a hard thing to change your mind on or to look at differently, because now my brain's going, well, if I feed him what I eat, won't that then wreak havoc on his stomach because he's been so used to this other stuff? What if that makes it worse as opposed to better? But at the same time, you don't want to feed your dog something that is, people are saying is killing their dogs. I did go to the Purina website because I was really curious, like, hey, what are y'all doing? And they put up this statement on January 15th. They said, Purina response to online rumor, which has me very curious and skeptical at the same time. The fact that they have heard it, taken it to heart, and made a response about it makes me wonder, okay, well, is it a rumor? Are there actual, issues out there for a lot of people? And then I go, hey, ma'am, you're the one who found plastic in your dog's food. Yes, there's obviously issues. It may not be the food itself that is hurting these animals, but the fact that plastics are being found in the food, that is harmful to the animals. So even if the kibbles themselves are fine, there's no like E. coli or salmonella or anything else, or metals or anything in there, there's still plastic that I personally found in my dog's food. So immediately I'm like, I don't think I trust this brand anymore, just because of the way it was packaged, and something harmful made it into that package that if I had not seen it could have caused super harm to my dog. So I'll go to their website and I pull up their statement. And this is, just so you know, I'm not like pulling this out my butt. This is their website here, right? So I pull up their statement because I was really curious. And they say, pet parents continue to be understandably scared by an online rumor that there's an issue with Purina pet food. This rumor is false, and we are saddened to see the confusion and fear that it has caused for pet owners. There are no health or safety issues with our products, and they can continue to be fed with confidence. And they lost me immediately. Because instead of saying there's the possibility, we're looking into it, whatever else, they said there are no health or safety issues with our products. Purina, just so you're fully aware, finding plastic pieces in a bag of dog food is a serious safety issue with your product. And maybe you need to take these online rumors, as you want to call them, a little bit more serious. Maybe these people that are talking about this online are doing it because it is a real thing. Because you're not seeing it from your CEO lofty little headquarters or whatever does not mean it's not happening. Just because nobody has said, the food itself made my dog sick or whatever else, it doesn't mean there's not an issue. You should at least be looking into it. That's my personal opinion there, just so you know. So then I was like, okay, well, what can I feed my dog? There's a restaurant around here that we took Max to one day, and we were going to sit outside because they had like an outdoor patio where you could have your pets with you and whatever. We're like, it's nice out. Let's take Max to the restaurant. So we take him. And we get there and they have a menu just for dogs where they had plain white rice, they had plain boiled chicken, and they had broccoli. And you could get a bowl of dog food for $7. Here's where it's funny to me. That dog ate better than we did for a lower price. Everything I ordered or that I could have gotten on the menu had a lot of processed things in it, and, salts and spices and sauces and everything else. Whereas the dog food of plain white rice, some boiled chicken, and some broccoli at $7 was a much healthier, much better meal than the human menu even had on it. I was like, okay, next time I'm going to come in here and I'm going to order from the dog menu, and I dare you to tell me I can't eat it. Like, it's a much better deal, especially if you are a human out there trying to eat clean. Go order from the pet menu at whatever restaurant happens to allow pets and feed them, because pets cannot have the same spices and things that we put into our food. They can't have garlic. They can't have, I don't think they can have black pepper. There's a lot of things they can't have. So those foods are going to be cooked so much cleaner than the foods that are cooked for us. Tell me that's not the most like backwards thing you've ever heard, but also really smart. Rice, chicken, and broccoli for $7 is so much cheaper than even trying to get a hamburger and French fries at some of these places. So really smart thinking there. So then I looked up, what can you feed your dog? Because if I'm going to start cooking for Max, I want to know what he can have. And there's a lot more things than I realized you could give dogs. Carrots. I realize carrots are sometimes in dog food. Apples, white rice, but they say don't do too much rice because if your dog is diabetic or could be on the verge of diabetes, which I don't know why in my life I never thought of dogs and diabetes in the same sentence either. But now, I'm learning more about my pet than I knew before. They're saying not to give too much white rice because, again, it can hurt them. You can give dogs dairy products, but not a whole ton because it can cause issues. If they have lactose intolerance, it can give them like diarrhea and vomiting, which is what we're trying to stay away from, in all honesty. You can feed them fish. They're like, salmon, shrimp, and tuna are safe proteins for dogs. Okay, chicken, obviously, but boiled chicken with no seasoning. Peanut butter, although after all the peanut butter recalls lately, I don't really know if I want to give my dog peanut butter. You can give them plain popcorn. You can pop regular popcorn on your stove with no salt, no butter, no anything else, and feed them popcorn, and it's a nice little treat for them. Guess what? That's a nice little treat for me too, although I do like salt and butter. But you're telling me that on movie night, I could make some popcorn on my stove over here, put a little bowl of it in front of Max and put a little bowl of it in front of me, and we could sit here on the couch like two little buddies and just watch Turner and Hooch or something? Hello, I know what I'm doing tonight. You can give them pork, unseasoned, obviously. Cooked turkey, also plain and unseasoned. Blueberries. I dropped blueberries on the floor one day because they're really hard to hold on to. You're trying to like rinse them underneath the water and then transfer them from water rinse to on top of your waffle with peanut butter. And I dropped a couple on the ground, and Max, you know, immediately, because he sensed food and he ran straight for it and licked them up and chewed them, and then decided he did not like the flavors of blueberries and left them on the floor. So then I was like, well, maybe it's good he didn't eat them. Maybe it's bad for him. No, turns out blueberries are amazing for your animals. Bananas, same thing, but again, high sugar, so be careful. Cucumbers are safe for dogs. Green beans, they said not to give them peas too much. I don't know what the difference is there, why peas would be bad versus green beans. I'm thinking because peas are higher sugar and carbs at the same time. Watermelon, Max has had watermelon. I know Max likes watermelon. He loves watermelon. He can have coconut products, except for he can't because I'm allergic. Therefore, he's allergic by association. I have decided there's just so many things you can give your dogs. What you can't give them, though, in case anybody was curious, no avocado, no cherries, no chocolate, coffee, or caffeine. So don't, you know, let your dog have a little Red Bull or a little latte or anything like that. No raisins or grapes, no citrus fruits, no cinnamon. Okay, so when they say no seasoning on stuff, they mean all kinds. And obviously no macadamia nuts, onion, garlic chives, and no ice cream, which is interesting because if they're allowed to have dairy, why can't they have ice cream? Maybe it's because of all the added sugar. And then, of course, don't give them raw or undercooked meat. Don't give them raw eggs, no salty foods. And then they said bread dough. So you can give them bread, but don't give them dough, which I don't know why you would feed your dog just plain dough, cookie dough. People like to eat cookie dough. Don't give your dog cookie dough, okay? And then don't give them alcohol. I'm sure, you know, having a tipsy dog riding a skateboard with a little party hat on sounds like a good idea, but don't do it. Don't be that guy. Don't give your dog alcohol. So for me, Purina, he does still have it right now. He's actually over at his bowl, chomping down the last of the bowl he had. And then we're going to the store later and I'm going to buy him something different. I don't know what we're going to do, but I do know that I would like to go healthier, safer version for him because I love him like I love my kid. Like you want, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me. And maybe it doesn't occur to a lot of people that they are part of the family and should be fed the same way as the family. Now, there's going to be some people out there that are like, well, it's too expensive. And yeah, it's definitely more expensive that way. But also, if you're feeding them the good, healthy stuff like the rice and the chicken, not too much rice, obviously, but things like that, do they need as much as scoops full of the kibble stuff? Like in the long run, are you actually giving them less food that's more nutritionally dense so they don't even need to eat as much, which then saves you money in the long run when it comes to how you feed your dog? All I know is I have lost trust for Purina, even though there is no technical recall on Purina, any of their foods right now, because that was a question I had. Somebody said, well, what are you feeding him? And I said, Purina, Beneful, healthy weight or whatever. And they're like, well, that one's trash, that one's bad, whatever, you should get this one. And if there was a Purina recall, wouldn't it be like across all of them, or is it only a specific one? And I couldn't find anything anywhere for that. But the fact that they said there are no health or safety issues with our products, they lost me, because I personally know firsthand there is a safety issue with having plastic inside your bag of dog food. So that's that. But y'all should definitely check out the video that I watched that then made me want to talk to you guys about everything, because I watched his video and I was like, it did not even occur to me that the dog food itself is something that we have been tricked into by consumerism. Is that the right word? By big corporate whatevers, that we've been tricked into believing that that is what is needed to feed animals. What were dogs and cats eating before corporations started making dog food? Back in the, I don't know what year, but we'll go 1850. Sure, why not? Back in 1850, they were probably eating the same thing you were eating off your table. You know, the bacon and the rice and the bread and the chicken and everything else. They weren't eating bagged food that they got at the grocery store. So that says a lot. If you stop and think about it, that says a lot. It's about profit, and it's about a way to sell something to somebody that technically they don't need. There's kind of like a little light bulb moment there. Anyway, listen, Squirrel Tribe, Thank you guys for being here and letting me have this conversation with you. I would love your comments on this whole thing. What do you feed your animals? Do you think it's okay to give them the bag stuff? And if you do, which ones do you use? What is the Blue Mountain? Is that the one? I feel like that's the one. I can picture it, but it's not Blue Mountain. I cannot think of what it is to save my life right now. Squirrel brain, I guess. But I would love your thoughts on this and what you generally feed your dogs and how much you feed them. If you're feeding them human food, which now at this point I'm just going to call it food. It's not even human food. It should be for everybody. But how much do you feed them? Like, how do you know the right portions and the right amounts there? Because again, never occurred to me before. So this is going to be new to me and I want to get it right. And with your help, hopefully I can. Thank you guys for liking the video. Thank you for being part of the Squirrel Tribe and subscribing. And I love you all immensely. And I'll see you again later. Bye.